Hello, today is December 30th, Saturday, and the sixth day of Christmas. Our Advent adventures and beyond have taken us to Bethlehem, and we continue to reflect on what it means to be a follower of this one who is God's gift to us, born in a stable in Bethlehem, who's come to be our Redeemer and Savior. Today I'd like to reflect on one of my patron saints, who is David, who is king of ancient Israel. And, I call him a saint because he was an unlikely character, first of all. He was the seventh son of Jesse, who, when Samuel comes to anoint a new king for Israel to replace Saul, he comes and he looks at the sons of Jesse and there's some very handsome, striking young man who he thinks, oh, this is the one. And it wasn't. Finally, they call in David, who was out with the sheep, who was the most unlikely candidate. And yet he becomes the one that God chooses to be the hero in the story of David. Now, David wasn't a perfect person. He screwed up. He screwed up several times along the way, not just in his early years, but even later as king. But what's important to know about David is not that he was a perfect character, not that he was the best of the best, but that as a sinner, he recognized his sin and was more than willing to ask God. He humbled himself again and again, asking God's forgiveness. And that was an important thing because it wasn't just that he shepherded the people of Israel. He shepherded them with humility, and he tried to be for them a sign of God's love and kindness and mercy, to fill in for God, to lead them the way God would have them be led. And that's an important thing. We tend to think of saints as being perfect people, and they aren't. They aren't. Every saint has a past, and some of them pretty shabby. It doesn't matter what their past was. It's how they opened themselves up to God and how God enabled them to be more, and how through them God's kingdom was built in this world. You and I are invited to be the same. We don't have to be perfect. In fact, God doesn't need perfect people. They have no need for God. No, the imperfect people like you and me, we recognize our faults and hopefully turn to God and ask for forgiveness, and hopefully even reach out to those we may have offended and ask for their forgiveness. We humble ourselves, and more than anything else, recognize our need for God's help and kindness in our life, so that we can bring those gifts to others. Today, I'm reflecting on David, my patron saint. He's also my hero, because this one who struggled shows us how to be a holy person, not because they're perfect, but because they recognize their need for God's help and guidance. This Christmas season, we celebrate the gift of a Savior. May we recognize our need for his help and his guidance every day. Open our hearts to him and follow him like David did. And give our lives to the service of the Lord in whatever way God asks of us. Have a blessed Christmas season.